In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the 10 worst upgrades you can make to your home that are not going to get you a return when you go to sell. In fact, these upgrades may actually hurt your chances of selling your home. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, if you watched a lot of my videos, you know that I talk about if you are living there for yourselves, none of these things matter. Okay. I want you to update your home for your way of life. That's really important to me. If you are less than 2 years out, I would not undertake any of these things that I'm going to be talking about today. You may think that they're great updates, but the buyers do not. I'm going to tell you a story about somebody who called me, who I had worked with a couple of years ago, and he called me to ask me about solar panels. Okay, so solar panels is number 10 on my list right now, is something that if you put in, it could really hurt you when you go to sell. And he really wanted the solar panels for himself. And I said, well, in our area, this was in Chicagoland area, I said, people don't love solar panels. Now, people don't love solar panels in a lot of places. Now, some people, and I know I'm going to get comments from you guys, is saying to me, we love our solar panels. We need to have solar panels. Buyers don't necessarily love them, especially if they're leased, because a lot goes on with it. Now, I have not had a lot of experience selling these. This is just from people I've talked to throughout the country. However, I have worked with buyers who are looking at purchasing homes that have solar panels on them. And he had asked me, should we put solar panels on our home? We're thinking it'll be a good investment when we go to sell. And I said, it won't. I said, you most likely will not get what you put into the home. Now, he said, okay, well, we're not planning on moving for like 10 to 15 years. And I said, go ahead and do that then. If you're not worried about how it's going to affect your sale, go ahead and do that. But then he talked to me about where he was going to put them. And he had it was kind of like the garage, but the garage was sort of street facing. And he had already gotten approval from the village that they could go on that. And I said, if you put them in the front, you're definitely going to have a problem with it. So don't do solar panels for a return. Okay. If you want to do them for you, that's a great choice for you, but don't think by putting them on, you're going to get more money for your house, because what it may do is actually turn buyers away and they just won't buy the house. So don't do solar panels if you want to get that return. The garage conversion. And I've seen this quite a bit. I saw this in the Chicagoland area a lot. And this is where you take your garage. Typically, I was seeing this in like smaller homes, and they convert it to a living space. If you don't have a garage, you have to indicate that on the MLS. And so some people in their MLS search are saying, I don't want to see any homes that do not have a garage. So your home will literally not show up on their search. And in an area that I was coming from, garages are incredibly important. So you need to think about it. If a garage is incredibly important in your area and you're getting rid of it completely, it won't show up in the MLS search if somebody is saying a garage. So could this help you get the home sold? Maybe. Probably not. I'm not sure. These are all the questions that buyers are going to say when they see it. They're going to say, do I want a house without a garage? And then a house without a garage comes on down the street, and that's what they go and buy. So be very careful if you're converting a garage into true living space. Okay, the next one is disappearing bedroom. And I've seen this quite a bit. Now, if you're doing this for yourself, again, all these things on this list are for yourself. If you're doing this for yourself, I think that that is okay. What I mean by disappearing bedroom is you've taken a bedroom and you've combined it with another bedroom, or maybe you've made it a closet. And it doesn't necessarily mean the house is not improved, because it probably is improved. You probably did something very functional in the house that it could use. Part of the issue is that on the MLS is that you are going to be reducing the number of bedrooms that you have in your house. So let's say you've got 4 bedrooms and you've taken one of those bedrooms and you've made it a massive master bedroom closet. Maybe you bumped in the bathroom to that. That's probably going to add to the market value, right? But if somebody is searching for 4 bedrooms on the MLS, your home is not going to come up. So you just have to keep in mind, what are the consequences of doing something like that? It may be completely worth it for you, but in the end, it may not. So don't do this right before you're thinking of moving, because you're going to have to change that MLS from 4 bedrooms to 3 bedrooms, from 5 bedrooms to 4, and you just won't get as many searches on the MLS. So before I get into all the rest of them, spending a lot of money on updates before you go on the market can be, oh gosh, I hate it. And what I really want you to be doing is doing your updates, doing anything that needs to be done over time. I want you to enjoy your home. I want you to live in it and really just love the place that you live. It gets very, very costly if you're waiting until right before you go on the market to do all of these updates, anything that you need to fix, things like that. So that's why I want to make sure you've downloaded my seller's planner, my seller's playbook. It's been downloaded tens of thousands of times. And this is a free 40-page guide for you. And it's going to show you all the things. It's going to show you your timing. It's going to show you updates, staging, things like that. But you definitely are going to be able to get my investment matrix. It's going to tell you what category your home is. So make sure you go to sellersplanner.com. You can use the QR code, or the link is in the description below. A pool in the wrong climate. Now, in Florida, everybody loves pools in Florida, right? Most people are going to get less for their home if they don't have a pool. In the colder climates, where a pool really does not live all the time, does not live open, it can be a real detriment. And so I know we know this one's pretty obvious, but I can just tell you from personal experience that having a pool in the Chicagoland area, people are turned off by that. Like, it may be beautiful, but it's only beautiful for 3 months a year. So you really need to think about that. Now, if you want to put in the pool for yourself and you love it and you know what the ramifications are on the backside, yeah, go ahead and do it, because I love my pool in Florida, but I would never have had one in Chicago. All right, my next one is an open concept gone too far. Now, many people, I would say, I don't know, like maybe 15 years ago, are really thinking open concept, everything we want open, 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 open. And then they realized how loud open concepts are. So the open concept has actually kind of come back a bit, and not everybody loves the open concept. I'm still seeing people want an open kitchen to like a family living space. Like, that's still important. But when you've got the open layout on the first floor with an open layout up to the second floor, it can be very, very hard for young families who have young kids, and you're down in the kitchen or you're watching TV and your young kids are already in bed by 8 and you have to be very, very quiet. So if you're thinking about opening your layout, because everybody wants an open layout, I just want you to stop. I want you to think again that maybe that's not really a great idea right now. If you need help, you definitely should have an agent come in early to talk to you about this. I really do recommend having an agent. Anything I'm talking about today, if you're a few years out and you've got an agent who's a friend, or you know an agent, just reach out to him, send him a text, give him a call, and just say, hey, I'm thinking about this project. What is the resale that I might get? Like I did earlier with this guy. I mean, he gave me a call. He said, we're not moving for 10 years. I mean, really? Like, that's not a lead for me. That's not somebody I'm going to pound on. He was really asking for my advice because he trusted me. And you have to realize your agent wants to be that person for you. That agent wants to be there for you. If you're thinking about any of these things, I want to make sure that you do reach out to your agent as soon as possible. If you don't have an agent, you can absolutely reach out to me, and I'll make sure that you're getting a true certified agent who's experienced in your market. You know, really, these true certified agents are looking at people who are like a year to 2 from moving. But if you need help and just some guidance, just go ahead. You can email me, you can reach out to me, and we'll make sure that we give you guidance even if you're many years out. We want to make sure that you're covered. We want to make sure that you sell your home without blowing up your life, and this is definitely going to be the way you can do it. Okay, next one. I do like this one because this is really kind of interesting that you might not have thought of, and this is phantom square footage. And this is when a house has been upgraded, or you've added square footage, but not necessarily with a permit. Because I get a lot of people who will reach out to me and say, well, Zillow says my home is only 2,200 square feet, but we added this mudroom in the back of the house, and that adds like an additional, 100 square feet. Why isn't it on there? Well, it's not on there because either the county hasn't pulled it through, and the county doesn't know if you did do it permitted, or you did it unpermitted, and now you've added square footage, but the county doesn't know. And therefore, your value of what the county has is not going to be correct, which can be a real problem for buyers when they come in and they realize that something's not been done through the county, or the square footage has not been updated with the county, because that means that their taxes really could go up, because when you sell, everything is going to be reassessed. So if you've got something like that, if you've done something and maybe it just wasn't recorded by the county yet, I really think you need to make sure you rectify this sooner rather than later. You don't want to be rectifying this the moment it goes into Zillow, the moment it goes online in the MLS, because it's over by that point. Like, you really can't make any changes by that point. Once you've hit the market, you've hit the market, so you kind of got to go with it. But if you're in this situation, you definitely want to talk to an agent early about what you should be doing and talk about the square footage. Square footage is a whole other topic I could I could really talk about for a long time. But, if you have something like this, I definitely say start working on this one early. So the next one probably is not a surprise for most people who do this. It's the overwired smart home. Now, most people who do this know that what they're putting into the house is really expensive stuff. And they know most people are not going to be able to understand even what they've put in there. But you just want to keep in mind is really you're not going to get back dollar for dollar on this, what you put into the house. The other thing is that the buyers are going to expect it to come with the house. So you need to be very, very clear with your agent what is staying and what is not staying. And if you have a whole system, those buyers are going to want it, and they're going to want it for nothing, like no money, not for whatever you put into it. Now it can be a whole issue. So if you're like, I am absolutely keeping this whole system, then I would get rid of it earlier and take it with you earlier rather than waiting until the buyer comes in and try and negotiate, because you're just not going to get what it's worth. Because first of all, they just don't even understand what it's actually worth. Second of all, they're going to be like, what, you're going to take it out now? Now, keep in mind, a lot of the things that are actually installed, like the speakers, need to stay. Like those need to stay unless you specifically say they're going with you. So this is all stuff you need to know before you get listed, before you go on the market. So talk to your agent about that. So the next one I know from experience, I had a client and he had a really nice house and he put like $250,000 into the landscaping. We had showings and the house needed a ton of work on the inside. The layout was dated. It just was not a great house. The landscaping, oh my gosh, was absolutely beautiful. It was gorgeous. And he said, I just paid $250,000 for this landscaping. And I said, nobody's going to give you dollar for dollar for that. So if you're kind of an outdoor person and you love your landscaping and think that's going to sell your house, it's not. A lot of times people don't want to keep up with the maintenance. I've seen that happen too, where people move into a highly landscaped home and then they pull everything out and they just sod over it. I've seen that before. So if you have a lot of high-end landscaping in your home, that is not going to overcome any deferred maintenance you have in your house or things that need to be fixed. So I'm going to say that maybe on this list, some of these things might help you sell your home faster. This is one of those things will help you sell your home faster, but you're not going to get out dollar for dollar what you put into it. So I want you to be very careful. If you're like, I don't know, within 3 years probably of moving and you're thinking you're going to do a gigantic landscaping project, I would bring in that agent and say, listen, should I just sod this or should I put in these beautiful trees? What should I do? This is one you're just not going to get out when you go to sell, but it may get your home sold faster. All right, this one can be a little controversial, and this is when you remove the only tub in the house, or maybe you remove the tub in the master. Now, I see it all the time. These old homes have these gigantic tubs and these little showers, and literally nobody is using the tubs anymore. I mean, you get a few people here and there, but you've got all this space for the tub, and so when the sellers are thinking, you know what, we want to remodel this bathroom. They're like, we never use the tub. Let's make our shower really big. And now you've got this beautiful, gorgeous luxury shower, which I love. I do love that. The problem is if you don't have any tubs in the rest of your house, that's a real issue, especially for somebody who's selling to a family, because those people are going to have children and they need to bathe in a tub. So I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm saying there are people, if you don't have any tubs in your house, you rip them all out, they will not buy your house because now they're going to have to put in a tub. So that can be a really big deal, even though I do love, the idea of a huge shower. I do think that is just beautiful, and buyers really do love that too. So I definitely want you to think about this before you take out the only tub in your home. So before we get into the last one, I want to remind you of all the resources I have, all the free resources I have for you. And that is my Facebook group, sellyourhome.group. We've got thousands and thousands of people in there who post their questions about, what they should be doing in their home. Should they be upgrading? Should they be painting? We'd love to have you in there. You can just go to sellyourhome.group or you can search for my name on Facebook. Also, if you want a truth certified agent, you can go to truthandrealestate.com, and this service is completely free to you. I will tell you, I do get a referral fee on the back end, but only if you close, and these agents should not be marking up the commission that you're paying to cover a referral fee. This is part of doing business. This is just marketing for them. So that is definitely, if you want an agent, we're happy to talk to you about that. We can find them pretty much anywhere in the whole country. We've had a lot of success with that. And finally, I've got my book that's coming out, and you can pre-order it right now if you go to protecttheseller.com with lots of free bonuses in there. And if you could do something back for me, is go ahead, hit that subscribe button, share this video, like it. I'd love to have your comments as well, because I do videos based upon what you're telling me. All right, so let's go ahead to our very, very number one issue that you do not want to do. You do not want to upgrade it to this point, and that is to be the best home on the block. Now, I know many of you know this, sort of, but you think that just because you're upgrading the home and you're putting all this money into it, you are going to get more money than your neighbors because you have the best house on the block. That is not how it works, because people do not want to buy the best house on the block because most likely it will not appreciate in value and they could be underwater at some point, especially if the other homes on the block do not appreciate. In addition, you have to think about the appraised value of your home. You may not be able to get what you want for the home because no other homes in the area are actually going to sell for what your home is, and therefore the buyer can't get a mortgage from the bank because the home won't appraise. I talk about this all the time. It's very complicated. And you would be surprised to know how many people think that they are going to get $1 for $1. So $1 in does not mean $1 out. That's what I talk about in my book. $1 in does not mean $1 out. I want to make sure you understand that just because you put in this beautiful marble, this beautiful decorating, you've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on outdoor landscaping, you've redone your driveway, you've put paver bricks, you've done hardwood throughout, you've over improved, you put in this pool. If your neighbors' homes aren't like that, there is a good chance you will literally not get even close to what you put into the house. So I want to make sure that if you are the best home on the block, that you know you're the best home on the block because you want to be the best home on the block, not because you're thinking about getting your money out when you go to sell. I'm so sorry to tell you that. So in closing, I want to make sure that you realize that if you want to do these things for yourself, please do it. I am a big proponent of making sure your home is your sanctuary and where you love being. So do it for yourself. If you're doing these things for a return, you got to make sure you go into it with your eyes wide open. What is actually going to get you out and what's not? So I hope this has been a video for you that you'll consider watching more of my videos when they pop up on your home screen. I'm Kati Spaniak, and this is Truth in Real Estate.